For the longest of times, people have speculated if the existence of extraterrestrials was actually true, or if it was a myth. There's no good way to say this, so I'll just come right out and say it. I've worked for the Secret Service for about 7 years now, and here's why you shouldn't waste your time voting. I'm not crazy. I take psych evaluations every year, and have always passed with flying colors. What I'm about to tell you may have you thinking otherwise, but I swear to you, I'm telling the truth. The President of the United States is not human, and I suspect this may be the case for all the politicians running to take office. I made this discovery about 2 years ago at one of our president's summer homes. The president and his family were on vacation, and I, along with my team, were tasked with keeping him safe. The location, a primarily desolate island off the coast of Hawaii, was staked out about a month before the vacation. The president himself asked specifically that we make preparations for his arrival. We conducted aerial surveillance of the island to ensure no uninvited guests were there, and found that there were none. The summer home, a large and slightly outdated beach house painted yellow, was equipped with some of the latest surveillance systems, both inside and outside of the house. However, for privacy purposes, we only include cameras at the entrances and exits of the house. This way, the family could enjoy their vacation without feeling that they were constantly being watched. There were a few teams assigned to monitor the president and his family. One stayed at a guest house only about 20 yards away from the main house. This is where I was stationed. Inside, we monitored the camera feeds and would take turns with doing a sweep around the house. Another team stayed on a boat, watching the waters and keeping an eye on weather alerts, and was equipped with the president's helicopter to fly the family to safety if any problems arose. For about a week straight, we went over safety protocol, did weapons training, and trained ourselves to function with only 2 hours of sleep. It's safe to say that we were prepared for any attack on the president. However, I discovered that there are things that not even the best training in the world can prepare you for. It was about 2 a.m. The president and his family had retired for the night, around 11 p.m. or so. It was my turn to do surveillance rounds around the house. On my third rotation around the home, I hadn't noticed anything out of the ordinary, which is usually the case in my line of work. We go through thousands of hours of training, and 95% of the time, we're not having to use any of it. Many may find that frustrating, but not me. In fact, in this line of work, boring is good. If things are escalated beyond that level, it oftentimes means lives are in danger. I was finally on my last walk around the home when my radio comes to life. Eagle Scout, come in. We very rarely use our real names on the job, but rather go by code names. Mine was Eagle Scout. 10-4, I respond, honestly surprised to hear my commander's voice through the radio. There's a faint glow coming from the house. It's been on for about 10 minutes now. Can you go check it out? Over. Luckily, it wasn't any cause for alarm. At the time, I remember thinking that it was likely that someone got up to use the bathroom and left the light on. However, it's always good to check and be sure in case someone had a fall or fainted. We try and give the family as much privacy as possible, but at the same time, our job is to above all ensure their safety. It just so happened that I was at the back exit of the house. The house may have been outdated, but we equipped some technology to help make our jobs a little bit easier. The locks being used on the doors can be locked and unlocked via our surveillance system for situations just like this. 10-4, requesting backdoor access. A second later, I hear the sound of the door unlocking, and I open the door, being careful not to make any noise on my way in. The bedrooms were all situated upstairs, so I was hoping to quickly get to the source of the light, investigate it, and leave without waking anyone up. It turned out the light was coming from the kitchen. The fridge had been left open, and some of the light was bleeding over to one of the cameras. We stocked the fridge with drinks and snacks for the family to enjoy, and just had a shipment of the president's favorite beverage, grape soda pops, ordered and stocked earlier this morning. I noticed that it's all gone. There were 2 12-packs earlier this afternoon. I knew because I was the one that stocked it. It was hard for me to believe that the president and his family had drank it all already. I closed the fridge and was headed towards the exit of the house. However, the thought of the soda packs wouldn't leave my mind, and I remembered the commander saying that the light had only been on for the last 10 minutes. I found myself heading upstairs to check and see if anyone was having a hard time sleeping and if everything was okay. I opened the door to the kids' room and saw that both children were asleep. Though, when I slowly opened the door to the president's room, I saw no one there. Him and his wife were missing. I immediately pinged my commander. The president and first lady aren't in their quarters. Checking the rest of the house now. Stand by. 10-4, standing by. I quickly rushed downstairs, not paying attention to how much noise I was making. I checked to see if any of the bathrooms were occupied downstairs, both living rooms, the dining room, but still, there was no sign of them anywhere. The last room there was to check was the guest room. I opened the door to find both the president and his wife laying in bed, sound asleep. My heart was filled with relief. Habitually, I did a quick sweep of the room with my eyes and noticed both 12-packs on the ground next to their bed. Not thinking too much of it, I closed the door and head out, letting my commander know that it was just a false alarm. The next morning would arrive, and the family spent the majority of the time outdoors. On this particular day, the president and his wife had gone golfing on one of the golf courses built on this island, about a mile away. I was assigned to monitor the home. A nagging thought at the back of my head telling me to check out the house wouldn't leave my mind, and I found myself within the guest room once again. The soda was no longer there next to the bed. I didn't find any soda cans in the trash, nor did I see any soda in the fridge. After about 20 minutes of thoroughly checking the guest bedroom, I make an interesting discovery. There was a tall mirror that was mounted on the wall of the room. At first, I made nothing of it, but noticed an area of the golden frame of the mirror that was more worn out than the rest of the mirror frame. I pushed it with moderate force, and the mirror clicked. Slowly, it opened up, revealing a staircase into absolute darkness. Knowing I didn't have much time before someone checked up on me, I wasted no time in investigating the matter on my own. I turned on the flash on my phone and proceeded to walk down the spiraling steps. Eventually, I began to see light, and once I had gotten to the bottom of the staircase, I no longer required the flash. There was only one word to describe what I had stepped into: maze. The room I was in was moderately lit, contained beige-colored walls, and was about 30 feet wide in length and width. I saw that there was an opening to another room, and when I walked into that room, I noticed that it was exactly the same as the room I just came from. After doing this 3 times, I finally realized what I had found. My curiosity had placed me in the urban legend known as the back rooms. I made sure to commit where I came from to memory so that I wouldn't be lost, and as soon as I realized where I was, I wanted to turn back immediately. However, In that moment, I heard sounds coming from the room adjacent to the one I was in. I drew my firearm, and against my better judgment, I walked towards the noise. I witnessed several people gathered in a circle with their heads pried open. However, there was no blood, and the bodies were standing perfectly erect, as though nothing was wrong. Within their heads, I saw small creatures with big eyes, gray, slimy skin, conversing with one another, soda pop in hand. I cursed several times as I slowly retreated back to where I came from, my eyes witnessing enough. I found the entrance, ran back up the stairs, closed the mirror, and left the house. It took everything in me to hold it together. I didn't know who to trust with the information, and so I kept it to myself. Like I mentioned, it's been 2 years since that happened, and I have been preparing to unveil this information. I've gone completely off the grid now, and no longer work for the Secret Service. I'm sure someone or something will soon make the connection of who I am, but your attempts to find me will be futile, so don't waste your time. I'm not sure how long this post will be up for, but please save this recording and share it with as many people as possible. The back rooms are real. I've been inside of it. Extraterrestrials are real. I've seen them. The world we live in is a lie. Don't fall for it.